In today's Leeds news, another sell on kickback, Summerville future update, Aaronson sale situation, Premier League transfer window dates revealed, and Wober future unclear. Morning folks, Jer here, Wednesday morning the 15th of May with your Leeds United news. Hope you're having a good week so far. There's a little bit of stuff to get through, just really quick, the one a week. We're heading towards 32,000 subscribers, so if you like the channel, if you like watching the channel, you want to continue to help it to grow, you can do so by hitting the subscribe button down below. We're also approaching 4 million views this week, which probably should happen next couple of days, but massive thanks again, as always, to anyone who has subscribed to the channel and who has watched any of the content on the channel. There will be a match day preview tonight with myself and Stats at 7 PM. It'll be a live stream. Keep an eye out for that later on. Tonight we'll go through what we thought of the Norwich game in the first leg and the second leg preview ahead. So we'll cover that. Alright, let's crack on. Let's get into the news, and let's start with a potential financial kickback for Leeds United as another former Leeds player looks to move on. Leeds look to be making some money from that. Leeds look set to make a modest amount of money from the sale of a former Leeds player. The club will receive a sell-on clause for former Leeds United striker Rafa Murcia, who is on the move from Portuguese side Aaronson to Qatar side Al Sadd. The move hasn't gone through yet, but it is rumoured to be very close. Murcia left Leeds in 2021 after a 2-year spell at Leeds, when Leeds were doing that initial investment in the youth system. He has since moved on to become one of the most prolific striker in the club's division, netting 20 goals this season as well as 3 assists, and has spiked interest from other clubs in a potential move for him, one of those clubs being the Qatari side Al Sadd, who are keen to make the move. The fee of around £8.6 million for the striker. And according to Tita Amarilla, Leeds will be due a percentage of that fee. Now, it's a modest amount of fee. There is £500,000 that is expected to be divided up amongst 3 clubs who all participated in the training and development of the player in the early part of his career. Leeds are expected to make a rumoured £140,000 if the deal for Murcia goes through from Portuguese side Arouca to Qatar side Al Sadd, which is expected to go through, is in its final stages apparently according to rumours. So it's not a huge amount of money, but it's the second ex-player in a couple of days that Leeds look like they're going to make some money back on after selling them on. So every penny counts, I suppose, especially moving into a season where if we don't get promoted, there will be reduction in the parachute payments in Leagues One. They'll have some extra funds coming in from extra places, so nice to see that one. Speaking about a player then whose future will hopefully still be at Leeds, and that's Crescencio Summerville. And according to Team Talk, Crescencio Summerville will not look to force a move away from Leeds in the summer. The report states that Leeds have a valuation on Summerville of anything from £30 million upwards to £45 million, and will look to hold out for a larger fee should they remain in the Championship next season and interest come in from the Premier League. It goes on to say that Summerville himself will not look to force a move away from Ellen Road due to how happy he is said to be at the club currently. That doesn't rule out the possibility that the club themselves may look to sell Chris Summerville in the event that they fail to gain promotion to the Premier League. However, it does state that Crescencio Summerville will not try to rock the boat and push a move away from Leeds in the summer. Bayer Leverkusen, Liverpool, Newcastle, Aston Villa are all said to be keen on Summerville, with potential new Liverpool manager Arne Slot a continuous commentator on his admiration for Chris Summerville and the potential future destinations of the player as well. It would be expected by most people that if Leeds don't get promoted, Summerville will move on. The highest bidder will then obviously get the player. But it's nice to see that the player himself isn't already planning a future away from the club after this time last year when we saw so many players planning their futures away from Leeds rather than giving Leeds a hand to get back and fix the issues that they left behind. Summerville seems to be very happy at the club. He's been an important player for Leeds this season and could be a massive player coming into what's hopefully the final 2 games of the season, the second leg of the playoff, and hopefully a playoff final to look forward to as well. Doesn't mean anything, I suppose, in one sense. If the club decide to sell him, if we don't go up, he's an obvious sellable asset that will bring in a huge amount of money from a profit and sustainability perspective as well. Given Leeds only paid £1.5 million for him, they could get upwards of £45 million for the player. Could be very well reinvested amongst other players, but it's nice to see that the player himself hasn't got itchy feet just yet. Moving on to a player who we've talked about recently and may not have a future at Leeds United, and that's Brendan Aaronson. Yesterday we mentioned the likelihood of Brendan Aaronson returning to Leeds United in this summer's window, at least on a temporary basis. He has 2 goals, 1 assist, 1 yellow card and 1 red card, bringing up his total impact numbers for this season at Union Berlin, who are said to not be keen on retaining the player beyond his current loan. Reports suggest that Leeds have an asking price as little as £12 million in the player in an attempt to offload him. Aaronson was one of the first players to enact his loan release clause and leave Leeds at the back end of last season. Reports saying that he was planning the move before the season had even been completed. Leeds did pay £25 million for Aaronson a year ago, and a £12 million fee would be a significant loss for Leeds on the player, but it does show the 49ers are being very proactive in terms of getting these problematic exiled players off the books as quickly as possible and getting some money in for them rather than having to see them go out on loan again next season. And there's no guarantee, especially with Aaronson, that he would actually increase his value. When we talk about his output, well, I say 2 goals, 1 assist, 1 yellow, 1 red. When we get to talk about Max Wober, we'll show you how bad a season that is for an attacking player, if it doesn't seem bad already. It will be a struggle to see who will be willing to pay the £12 million for Aaronson, given the season he has had and given the repeated criticism from the Union Berlin chairman about his lack of physical strength, and the Leeds United fan base's criticism of Brendan Aaronson during his time here of a lack of physical strength, and the player himself not seeing it as a problem. A little bit of self-awareness needs to kick in here for Brendan if he wants to progress in the more competitive leagues in the world. He's going to need to put a little bit more strength on his body, but it'll be interesting to see. Maybe a return to Austria is how he kickstarts his career again, goes back to Red Bull in Austria and tries to rekindle what he had started to build while he was there the last time. It will be interesting to see, but 12 million doesn't sound like an awful lot of money. You might struggle to get that for him, and again, when we get to Max Wober's output this season, we'll see how low down the pecking order Aaronson's numbers are. But anyway, moving on, and we'll talk about the transfer window that's upcoming, and the Premier League have released their transfer window dates, and it could affect Leeds. The EFL is in line with this as well as other leagues, and there has been some slight changes. In the event Leeds make the Premier League, these are important. If we don't, they're probably still important anyway, because there will be a homogenisation of the transfer windows coming into this summer. This transfer window for summer will open on Friday the 14th of June and will run till Friday the 30th of August, closing at 11 p.m. The winter window is where the significant changes are. The winter window will open as normal on New Year's Day, but will run until Monday the 3rd of February, closing at 11 p.m. This move is designed to ensure harmonisation across the Europeans' top leagues. They are named as the EFL, the Bundesliga, Serie A, Liga and La Liga. That will see the Premier League clubs fall in line with the rest of Europe's transfer windows, meaning that they won't be at a significant disadvantage in terms of buying and selling players before or after the rest of European clubs do so. So yeah, one to keep an eye on. And then finally today, talking about the future of Max Wober, and his future looks continuously unclear at this point. According to German outlet Bild, Max Wober will almost certainly say his goodbyes, in inverted commas, to Borussia Mönchengladbach this weekend in their final game of this season. The Bundesliga clubs see the £15 million Leeds United valuation as excessively high, and as said in this piece, is beyond them, and they're unwilling to pay it. The Gladbach sporting director Roland Vickers has had the following to say on this. We've been having discussions with everyone involved. Of course, we would like to keep Max with us, but Leeds' demands are extremely high. Max Wober has played 24 Bundesliga games for Gladbach this season, scoring 2 goals and getting 3 assists this season. Again, comparative to Brendan Aaronson, he scored the same amount of goals as Aaronson from a defender versus number 10, and has 2 more assists than Aaronson has clocked up in the entire season. Not great for Aaronson, but from a Wober perspective, positive stuff. Wober himself has said that he hasn't heard from anybody recently and is keen to get his future sorted out. Leeds' valuation is an increase on the £10 million that Leeds spent on Max Wober last season, but given the season that the player has had opposed to the club, you can see why Leeds see him at a higher valuation. Gladbach have not had a good season. They're in a very similar position to Union Berlin, although Union Berlin could still get relegated on the final day of the season, where Gladbach look like they're safe. There has been continuous high praise from the Gladbach chairman, sporting director and manager publicly in Max Wober's performances, basically stating that they don't have a player like Max Wober when he isn't available to them, and how important he is to them. So the belief amongst Leeds is that there will be clubs willing to pay the £15 million for the player, and that makes sense given that he has had a very good season in a side that has really struggled this year. There are said to be other clubs interested in Wober as well. A return to Leeds on a temporary basis is expected, but unlikely to see him remain at Leeds, as Leeds do look to offload him at a permanent basis and hopefully make a profit on him, which could offset some of the losses that they will make on Brendan Aaronson. As I said, there will be a match preview tonight, folks, at 7 p.m. myself and Andrew Dalton. You can keep an eye out for that if you want. And if not, I'll be back tomorrow morning for more Leeds news as we head into the second leg of the playoff, and Leeds looking to break a record of winning a home tie in the playoffs since the 80s. Be nice to see that happen. Have a cracking rest of your day, and I will see you tonight for the live stream or tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Have a great day. Talk to you then. See you. Bye.